Hey, what's going on, everybody, man? Hope you guys are all doing very well wherever you're at and with whatever's going on in your life. All right, so I wanted to talk a little bit today about creative efficiency. And if you're a creative person, you know that we can fall into these ruts, man, where creativity just seems to be bottlenecked. We can't get our ideas out fast enough. We can't implement some of the things we want to implement. And therefore, it causes us to feel extremely weighted down, extremely uncreative, unmotivated, and is really just a mess. Nothing gets done. There's no excitement in your work. It's really, really a big deal. And it's something that we will continue to face over and over and over again. And so, what I wanted to talk to you guys today quickly about was creative efficiency, how to actually be efficient in your creativity. You know, the crazy thing about it is, right, is there's a saying that says content is king. And that's true. Content is king. We need to have content. We need to create content. We need to be sharing our stories. Doesn't matter what kind of business, what kind of brand. I think everybody, listen to this, especially believers. I think every believer should have a personal brand. They should have a story that they're trying to tell. They should have a means that they're trying to connect with people. I believe that because what is it at the end of the day? It's connecting with people. So shouldn't we all do that? We're all trying to share the gospel. We're all trying to share, life experience, encourage, motivation, all kind of stuff. So I think that everybody should have a personal brand. Now, with that being aside, how do we stay efficient in our creativity? This is one of the biggest problems that I've seen in my life and in the life of other people that weighs us down. We know content is king. We know that we need to be creating content, but man, it can be so hard sometimes and so much to do. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about a couple of things, 3 specifically, that you can do to kind of help you stay efficient in your creativity and just kind of talk about them, okay? So let's get right into it. I'm going to give them to you straight from the gate. And so the first one is to manage your ideas. You need to come up with some sort of system, some sort of way to manage your ideas. What do I mean by that? Well, they need to live in a certain place, whether that's a Google Doc, an Excel spreadsheet, a Trello board, a mind map. I mean, just pick something, right? Pick something where your ideas can live. You could even have them in a notebook. I actually have certain ideas that live in certain places. So I know that if I'm going to be looking at this kind of stuff over here, these ideas live over here. Maybe it's on your notes on your phone. Maybe it's a Google Doc. I use all those things. Okay. So this is a big one because creative people tend to have a lot of ideas. You know, it's funny, man. I joke with people about this, but I have an addiction to buying domains. I probably own about 60 or so domain names, because they're all revolving around ideas that I'm like, And sometimes, the domain kind of validates the idea for me sometimes, whether it's a good idea or not, or, man, if I can come up with a clever domain name that's not taken, it's kind of like a little short-term victory for me, right? But here's the thing. We all have all these different ideas. You got all these different things that you want to do. You need to manage them. You need to put them in a centralized place where that you can work on them and then prioritize them, right? Which one are you going to spend time working on? Which one needs your immediate attention? Because when you have all these ideas floating around, you're actually going to wind up getting, and I've had this happen to me, you're going to wind up getting addicted to just ideas. And listen, ideas are great. It's wonderful, but they don't produce any results. Ideas in and of themselves are going to get you nowhere, just daydreaming and spending a lot of time thinking, which is fun for some people like myself, but it's not going to move the needle in any direction. It's not going to help you in any way. So you need to create a system to manage your ideas and learn how to prioritize that system wherever they live. Learn how to prioritize them so that you can work on them when you want to work on them. Okay, let's go to number 2. Okay, number 2 is you need to set some goals. Now, I know this cliche, right? You need to set some goals. Everybody will tell you this. But what I want to say to you in setting goals is not just, set some long-term goals, but set some immediate short-term, like even just for the day. Today, I need to get 4 graphics done. Today, I need to get this done. Today, I need to get this. Just go down to the day. Hey, by lunchtime, I need to have edited this video or done this thing. Not long-term goals. Those are good too. You need to know where you're going and all that kind of stuff. But man, you got to start learning the process and the skill of setting some short-term, super short-term goals. Like down to the hour, you know what I mean? Some of these kind of goals. Now, there doesn't have to be a whole bunch of them, but creative people, we need to kind of create these guardrails of goal setting so that we stay on track and we stay focused and we stay getting things done. Because here's what I've come to realize. Progress produces passion. When we are making progress, we are feeling extremely passionate about what it is that we're creating, and we want to create more. Thank you, Sid. I appreciate it, man. He says, definitely appreciate this video, brother. I haven't been creative for a few years now. See? And I would venture to say, and I'm not going to just say it, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to just put that out there like that, but I would take a guess that a lot of times our creativity is killed by a couple of things. One is stress. Stress is one of the biggest creative killers. When we got deadlines and pressure and we need to make that money and we need to secure the bag and we need to do all this stuff, stress will kill your creativity like nothing else. So stress is one of them. But another one I think is efficiency. It just takes too long to create sometimes. It's too much of a headache. We don't feel motivated. Man, I got to go grab my camera. Then I got to go find a spot. Then I got to make sure the lighting is right. And then I got to shoot it. And then I got to take it home. And then I got to put it in the computer. And then I got to edit it. And then I got to post it. Like, I'm cool, man. I'm just going to watch Netflix, right? That efficiency is one of the biggest struggles for us actually being creative. So, and this is the whole reason for this video. If we can find a way to be more efficient, then we can find a way to be more creative. And creativity is something that the world needs. I firmly believe that, man. I'm a proponent of creativity being an aspect of the Lord, being that is part of what we're made in his image. To be creative is to be in his image. He is the creator. And so therefore we know that part of our assignment here on this earth, man, is to be releasing our creativity into the world. People need to see your perspective. People need to see your thoughts. People need to see how you approach things, how you view things, what your creative eye is. People need to see that. It's bigger than just whatever you create and the gratification that you get from creating it. It's way bigger than that. There's a bigger purpose to your creativity. So there's a side rant for you there. You need to be creating. And that's why I'm passionate about helping other creative entrepreneurs get going in their creativity, because it's really, really important. There are a group of people out there. Listen to this. There are a group of people out there that need exactly what you have. They need exactly what you have. They need to see it and hear it from you personally. They need to hear that story about when you were growing up and how that thing that happened to you caused you to view life differently. They need to see why you think that this is a interesting perspective, because up until now, they've never seen anybody who has that same perspective. They need to see it. They need to connect with it. And especially now more than ever, where things are being pushed online and we could connect with millions of people. We could invest $150 a month, small investment, to just start running some ads on our creativity, just for the sake of reaching people. Not trying to make no money, just trying to get it out there and trying to connect with people. Man, what would your creative business or your creative brand or whatever you want to call it, what would that look like if you just invested $150 a month running ads on your creative stuff? I'll tell you what it would look like. It would grow. It would grow. And you would find more and more people that are connecting with your content. And listen, man, that is one of the best feelings ever as a creative, to have people that are connecting with your content, that are going like, hey, man, dope video, man, that really helped me out. And listen, one of the most discouraging things for people who are just starting out, especially doing stuff like this where they're sharing it online, one of the most discouraging things possible is, man, nobody's watching. Nobody's paying attention. Nobody's commenting. Nobody's following. Right? That could be super discouraging. And I get it. I understand why. In a way, it's a bit of validation, right? Like people are consuming what you're putting out there. Makes you feel good. Makes you feel valuable. right? But man, you got to learn how to kind of put that aside for a minute and just focus on releasing it so that you can build that up, because everybody starts with zero, man. Think about your favorite YouTuber or your favorite whatever, 1.5 million subscribers, 4 million subscribers, right? They started at zero, right? But what they did is they stayed at it. They were passionate. They weren't in it. They were just trying to connect with people. Okay. So that's number two. That's number two with a side rant. All right. Just to encourage you guys. All right. So set goals, short-term goals. Okay. Number three, and this is the biggest one, and this is the one actually that made me think about this topic. And this is huge. And this, I kind of touched on it a little bit on number two, but it's this. You need to remove barriers. You got to remove barriers, man. There are so many things that are stopping you from creating because they're just clogging up the system. It's just causing you to take way too much time to do it. This is exactly why I'm starting to jump on lives way more, because all I have to do, I'm going live from the camera that's in my computer. I have a USB microphone right here that's plugged in directly to my computer. I have a light and I have a window that's giving me light. I'm in my office, which is where I'm at already. I don't need to go find a location. I don't need to go set anything up and get it aesthetically pleasing. I don't need to do anything. The light stays there. I have a little remote right here. Look at, I could turn it off, turn it on. Okay. I have a light. There's a window. That's all. It's basically one light. It's in my computer, and the mic plugs into my computer. Super easy. All I got to do is press a button, boom, and I'm live. Now I can start talking to people. I can start sharing some things. And listen, all I did was just create. I had an idea where I'm like, man, this could be helpful. I wrote down a couple of points, right? Right? Manage ideas, set goals, remove barriers, right? These were just some things that I was thinking about, and I just made a video. And guess what I'm doing now is I'm creating some progress. I'm getting something done, which is going to make me feel ultimately more passionate and help me to create more. I'm sharing my story. I'm learning how to connect more and more on live videos. And guess what? It will grow. It will grow. And this is exactly what you need to do. So think about some of those creative things that, and once again, going back to the ideas list, right? And prioritizing and managing those ideas, what you want to do, what you want to get done, right? Prioritizing that. Once you know that, then you got to figure out, okay, how can I accomplish those things with the least resistance possible? You might have to cut back on some quality. Listen, I'm a filmmaker. Like, I have professional cameras, but I'm not using any of them. I have 3-point lighting setups. I have green screens. I have all this kind of stuff at my disposal, but I'm not using any of it. And the reason why I'm not using any of it is because it's only going to slow me down. I got to upload it in the computer. I got to edit it. I got to add music. I got to add all this stuff. Nope. When I can just click a button, turn on the light, and go live, right? It's helping me. It's starting to connect. It's trying to help people. It's sharing my gift. It's doing what I need to do. And when I click done on this video, I'm going to feel a lot better about just my creative space, because I'm like, man, I accomplished something. I got something done. I was able to tap in and connect with some people, and I was able to, I got something done creatively. And listen, that's huge momentum. That's a big, big deal. So once again, just to kind of wrap this up and summarize this, how do we stay efficient in our creativity? First, we understand that, man, your creativity is a gift. You have a responsibility to use that creativity, especially if you agree with the idea that God gave you that creativity, right? If you believe with that idea, then you also have to believe that it's a gift. And if you believe that it's a gift, then you have to believe you have a responsibility to use it, right? It goes back to the parable of the talents, right? Even though talents was a form of money, it's interesting that, our talent it could be viewed creatively, right? Are you going to bury your talent? Are you going to bury it because, it's too time consuming? You didn't feel motivated, like it was just too hard. You were in a creative block. Listen, I get it. Those are all valid feelings. Like, I've felt those things and feel those things. I'm working on a project right now that I'm just creatively stuck with, man. And it's hard. It's hard, right? So you got to do it though. You got to do it. It's part of your assignment, man. It's part of the reason why you were created. And there are tons and tons of people, even if they don't show up right now, man, that can benefit from it. There are tons and tons of people that you need to speak to. So once again, how do we stay efficient, man? Those three areas I believe will help you to stay efficient so that you can start creating more, so that you can start connecting more, so that you can start cultivating everything that God has given you, the gifts God's given you, even the people. Man, there are people specifically created in a way to receive what it is that you have to release. Okay. They're just waiting to figure out who you are, where you're at. They're waiting for you to show up. So it's time to show up, man. I hope that encourages you guys. Let me know, what are some things that you think or some things that help you be efficient in your creativity? You know, removing those barriers is a huge one, and you got to remove those barriers. It's nice to have all the high quality. It's nice to have all of that kind of stuff. Like, trust me, let me just say this too. Look at Sid. Thanks, bro. He says, appreciate this, Jesse. Please keep these live videos up. See what I'm saying? Look, I got 2 people tapped in right now. 2 people. That's it. 2 people. I ain't talking to nobody. I'm not. But listen, that comment right there means the world to me as a creative, right? Because I'm like, dang, thank you, bro. I appreciate that. Like, that's what I'm trying to do. And guess what? As you do it more, there will be more and more people. Okay. I was going to say something, but I forgot. I guess that's most important right there. That's my bro. Thank you, Sid. I appreciate you taking the time to leave a comment and encourage me with that, because yeah, it does. It goes a long way. And at the end of the day, man, we find our fulfillment when we help other people. As believers, man, we find our fulfillment when we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, when we're taking risks, when we're being brave, when we're being courageous, when we're being faithful, and we're just going for it, man. We get filled up. We get filled up. We get fired up. Come on. We get on fire when we're doing that. It feels amazing to help people, to bless people, to be an encouragement to people. So I want to encourage you guys with that, man. Really take your creative gift seriously. Listen, take your creative gift seriously, please, because it is a gift. It is a gift, man. You may think that you're not creative enough or whatever, or it's not good enough, but listen, you don't really get to decide that. You were given a gift. You just got to be faithful with it. Like, it almost doesn't really matter. Oh, that's what I was going to say. A lot of times we get so focused on the quality of things. We want things super high quality and everything. And we don't do it because of perfectionism. But listen, that's just an excuse for insecurity. It really is. You don't need the camera. You don't need the high quality. You don't need all. Is it cool? Yeah, it is. But you don't need it. You really don't need it. I mean, think about it in yourself. How many videos have you watched where you needed some information and the video was trash? Even the audio might have been trash, but you listened to it. You watched it. Why? Because you needed that information. It doesn't matter about quality, man. That's one of the biggest misconceptions about creatively sharing your gift that you can possibly ever fall into. It's really perfectionism, which is an excuse for insecurity. We think that somehow if we can polish ourselves up enough, if we can have the nice angle, the nice quality, the nice bokeh in the background, all these kind of things, right? Some of y'all are like, bokeh, what's that? Right? That blurriness in the background, right? If we can have all of these things, then somehow we'll be more able to present ourselves in a way that we want to come across. No, it's not true. It's not true at all, man. You're just covering it up. Jump on a live, jump on your phone. Just go for it. Start sharing your gift. Start telling your story, and not just your story, man, your true story, because there's a difference, man. You know it. There's a story that you want people to think, and there's a story that's really the truth, right? Start telling your true story, man. That's the scary one to share. You ain't got it all together. You still figuring things out. You're still learning. You're not a master creator after 10 years of doing it. You don't have all the answers. Right? Don't carry that burden. That's a burden, man. It's only going to weigh you down in your creative gift. Don't carry that. You don't need it. It's not true. And guess what? Here's the thing. It's not true, first of all. So it's going to be super hard for you to maintain, which means you're not going to be efficient at it. And guess what? Here's the big shocker. People don't even relate to that anyways. That is going to only hurt your ability to connect with people. Because when I jump on here and I tell you how I got it all together and how I'm just a master creator and I don't ever have any struggles and I'm just getting jobs, people are throwing thousands of dollars at me and it's just effortless and y'all just need to buy my course and sign up and whatever your motivation is for doing it, right? Or like me or follow me or whatever. Listen, people don't connect with that. You know what they want to know? They want to know how you struggle. They want to know, man, what do you do when it gets difficult? What do you do to overcome your creative block? Man, as a creative, listen to this one. And I'm gonna make a video about this in the future. As a creative, man, how do you deal with anxiety? Because you know what? The truth is, amongst the creative community, there's a lot of anxiety, man. I don't know if it's just the way that our mind is kind of wired and how we see things creatively, or how many ideas we got floating around that kind of cause us to be anxious or something. But I've talked to a lot of creative people, man, and creative people have a real wrestle with anxiety. Let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it. What do you do with anxiety, man? How do you pull it back? How do you focus on the Lord through those times when things are going crazy and you can't seem to make any progress, or life is just overwhelming you? And for creative people, like I said earlier, progress is passion, right? So when we're not creating any progress, when we're not doing anything, we get overwhelmed, and then depression starts to set in because we're not doing what we were created to do and we feel miserable. Listen, I know all those things. I've lived all those things, and I still continue to live all those things. How do we keep on going when things ain't working? Like, that's what people want to know. And you might be even thinking to yourself, seeing this and going like, yeah, you got a point. I identify with some of that, right? It's not about all of the stuff. It's not about the story that you think people want to know, right? That's just covering up for insecurity. It's about your true story, man. Telling your true story, releasing that into this earth, connecting with people, letting people know that they're not alone, right? All at the expense of you taking a little risk, getting a little courage up, being willing to go first. Listen, that's what leaders do, man. Leaders go first, saying, hey, listen, man, I struggle in this area. I'm trying to figure this one out. It's cool to share your wins and your victories. Yes, we should do that for sure. Share your wins. Encourage people. Hey, man, right? But listen, you can't just be only sharing your wins. You got to be sharing some failures, man. You got to be sharing some losses. You got to be sharing some difficulties, man, because that's what people are going to gravitate to. That's what people relate to. So anyways, that's a whole nother rant. It's like 3 other videos in one, but it's important. And it also relates itself to being efficient in our creative gift, because you need to learn how to be efficient, man. This is, like I said, this is one of the biggest killers of creativity: inefficiency. Either not using what we have, or getting bogged down, getting bottlenecked in certain things that is just causing us to not be able to create more. And listen, if you want to grow, which I know we all do, then you have to learn how to be efficient. You just got to learn these things, man. And some of these things are disciplines that we don't really want to do. Who wants to set goals, man? Who wants to manage ideas, right? Ideas, I really believe this. Ideas for creative people are like drug. It's like a drug. Like when I get a new idea, it's like taking a hit. Some of y'all feel me. Some of you guys are lost. But seriously, I'm like, man, when I get an idea, I'm like, ooh, it just does something. It's like releasing some dopamine. And guess what? Whatever gives you that effect, that dopamine hit is addictive. And when it's addictive, it means you're going to want to spend all of your time doing just that, sitting around, getting ideas, or sitting around, or, think about whatever creative part of the process for you gives you that kind of hit. And that's where you're going to spend your time, all your time, in those areas that are just releasing those dopamine hits. But listen, that's not all. There's discipline to this thing, right? There's levels to it, man. It doesn't matter that you just got a creative idea, or that you did something that kind of gave you that hit. That's selfish, man. It really is. You got to start doing some things that are actually for the benefit of other people. You got to start releasing your gift and telling your story so that other people can grab a hold of it, so that other people can relate to that, so that other people can actually come up out of their struggles, right? It's not just you coming up out of yours or you sharing exactly what you're doing. It's about you helping other people come out of theirs. Look at this Facebook. Boom. So good. I've been using this new, just a side note, I've been using this new service called StreamYard, and it allows me to stream to Facebook and YouTube at the same time, which is super dope. And it also allows me to have these little, creative efficient, have this stuff, the Kingdom Creative logo in the upper right or left. This one, there we go. This corner. Sorry, it's hard to do. This corner. And then it allows me to share also to some comments. So check this out. A question is coming through right now on Facebook. Boom. What are some ways you do to spur creativity amidst of everything that is going on? Man, that's a good question. That's a really good question. Some of the ways to spur creativity, first things first is, like I talked about a little earlier in this video, was stress, man. We got to really manage stress. Stress is one of the biggest killers of creativity that you could possibly ever have. So we need to learn how to manage stress first, right? Because it's gonna just block the whole process from everything going forward after stress. I mean, after stress, all that, it's just gonna. So we need to learn how to manage our stress, and that looks differently for different people, right? So I think you got to figure out a way to be able to manage it for your own personal life. Another thing that I'm a big proponent of this, and I kind of coined this phrase, is progress produces passion. You got to just do it. Like, that's what I'm doing right now. I didn't have it figured out. Like I said earlier, like I don't have all this figured. I just had an idea. I thought I could help somebody out. I jumped on, and already a couple of people said, "Hey, this helped me out." You know what that makes me feel inside? That makes me feel amazing. That makes me feel amazing. But what a lot of people don't know is that I'm actually sitting on a documentary right now that I got to do, that is about 8 hours of interview footage, that is completely like all over the place. I don't even really know what story I'm going to tell in this documentary. When I think about it, it causes me stress, and I'm creatively in a rut on another project. But what did I do is I created something else creatively that is now getting me inspired and encouraged and fired up to be able to do something else. It's that progress. I'm getting something done. And like I said before, removing some of those barriers to get something done, because there's barriers that are stopping you from getting it done. There's barriers that are like, you're like, when you think about it, you're just like, it's too much, man. It's too much. I got to go, I got to get the camera out and all this long old process. Part of the reason why I'm doing these live videos is I got one light set up. I got the USB microphone, like I mentioned earlier. I got my computer in my office, nothing fancy, ready to go. Boom. And now I'm feeling passionate about creating and helping people and getting things done, because I'm actually making some progress. And I think that's where a lot of creatives kind of get stuck. And especially in this time right now, amidst of everything going on, it's weird because it's actually the best possible time to be creating stuff, and especially sharing your story. Listen to this, man. I had this thought. I was jogging yesterday. That's another thing. Exercise. I get so much clarity when exercising. And I know it's hard right now with the gyms being closed and all that, but go outside, man. Go for a walk, go for a jog, do something, right? But I was jogging, and I was noticing as I was jogging, man, I could smell people cooking and stuff like that. And everybody was just home. Everybody was outside. And I thought to myself, man, now is the best possible time in history to share your story online, to start connecting with people, start creating videos. Why? Because there's never been historically a time where people are spending more time at home. The whole world is at home. Like, now's the time for you to be able to connect with these people, because they're just sitting there, right? Just waiting to consume some content. So I had that thought, man. So you know what? You just have to create. We get caught up. Creative people, their biggest downfall, one of their biggest downfalls is perfectionism. And that stands in the way. Listen, when you start making things efficient, you start raising the level of efficiency, perfectionism starts going down, because now it's more about efficiency than it is about being perfect. And when you can just start showing up unperfect, it gives you a lot of freedom, man. It gives you a lot of momentum. It gives you a lot of freedom to just start going and just start creating. And listen, that once again, going back to progress produces passion, like that's exactly what you need to stay creative, to keep on going. Right. So creative efficiency, man, something to definitely consider, something definitely to look at and ask yourself, man, what are some ways that maybe I'm not creating something because the process is just too long or it's just too overwhelming, man. When I think about it, I'm just like, I don't want to do that. Think about those ways, man, because you need to be releasing content. You need to be sharing your story. Once again, content is king. That's what they say. And it's true, man. People want content. Doesn't matter about your quality. Man, share your story. Hope that blesses you guys. Let me know what you think below. If you got some tips, if you're watching the replay, let me know what are some ways that you stay creatively efficient. Till next time, God bless you guys.